Sorry. Grubbing. Okay. Yeah, I can give a recap. 168, I can give a recap. We came together today. Um, well, the individuals, I don't know what they're doing with the tents. I anticipate more tents will arrive as long as they aren't kicked out. But just to recap what happened today. So if you have any questions, don't type them yet because I'm not looking at the comment stream. I'm just going to recap what happened today for the individual that asked. Earlier today, as I eat my last bite of cookie, Occupy Cal constituted it, or basically formed. They came out in front of Sproul Hall, set up tents, came out several thousand students, and basically started to protest. As a result, it is my understanding that UCPD, University of California Police Department, came out and started to break them up. There is video in my stream, probably 20, 30, 40 tweets back, from a YouTube video that I found of the police, the UCPD, basically beating the crap out of a line of students and teachers. Several of whom ended up in the hospital, including one professor. And in the video, you can see a couple of petite women, I would say, small women, being just basically just absolutely hammered by batons in their midsections and ribs, and they collapse. And it's basically not a very pretty scene. With my experience with Oakland PD, I half expected them to be Oakland PD, but apparently they were all UCPD at the time. At which point in time, after a few minutes of beating the protesters, they fell back to the lines, I believe, that they currently inhabited when I arrived this evening. There was a line out here on the steps where I'm standing right now on Sproul Hall. Out front of Sproul Hall, there was a line surrounding what used to be called, I don't know if it's still called that, the Bears Lounge. It was when I was a little kid, that building that I'm now pointing at across the street. And then there was a few thousand students, probably 3,000 to 4,000 at one point, maybe even more, in the daytime out here basically saying, peaceful protests, chanting slogans, setting up camp, trying to remain Occupy Cal and constitute themselves a protest. Then tonight, apparently they also had a GA today that I was not witness to. Then tonight, we had an impromptu GA. The GA was basically formulated to discuss anything and everything. And during that GA, a proposal was made from someone on Stack, and Stack is basically the way of saying a line of speakers. Somebody proposed a statewide educational strike. At which point in time, after a few more speakers, proposals were then heard, and that was the proposal which was voted on tonight. The proposal passed. I'd say at the time the proposal passed, there were probably about 1,500 people out here in the plaza, and only about half of them, probably 600 to 700, participated in the vote, because the others were way on the outskirts, and it was difficult to organize them, and it was they were coming and going, but nevertheless. And it passed by about 95%. Now, the way voting consensus works, as long as something passes by 90% or more, it passes. If it didn't pass, it would have gone and had amendments and then had to pass by 80%. But that's neither here nor there. It passed, and then after that, they started talking about setting up outreach committees, a strike committee, and started talking about scheduling. Now, it is my understanding that they are going to meet here at 10 a.m. tomorrow for some kind of outreach. Of some kind, community outreach, whatnot, and then at 5 p.m. tomorrow, they're going to have a strike meeting. Basically, like we in Oakland, when we passed our general strike, every day at 5 p.m., we would have a general strike meeting where we would have community outreach groups get together and game plan and how they were going to do community outreach. So, for instance, I was in the downtown Oakland Lake Merritt group, and I probably went to about 50 to 60 businesses over the span of about 4 days asking them to distribute flyers, asking them to participate in the general strike, and there were, hundreds of people just like me that did the exact same thing. I should actually say thousands of people just like me that did the exact same thing in their communities. And as a result, in about 5 to 6 days, we were able to pull off the first general strike in the United States since the 1940s. Ironically, the last general strike was also in Oakland in the 1940s. So we were kind of, it was kind of historically a historic parallel in that sense. But so that's their plan tomorrow. They're kind of going to take after us and start a strike committee meeting every day at 5, and then they will go to GA at 6, and they will vote on proposals, hear committee announcements, yada yada yada. All of you who have watched our GAs in Oakland understand the process. And if you don't, I will be broadcasting a GA on Friday at 6 p.m. So go ahead and watch it, and yeah. We will, you can see our process there, and I'm sure I'll make it out here for one of Cal's GAs eventually, but that's basically what happened. And now they're basically just setting up as many students as would like to stay out here all night, and that's that. So, oh yes, and the strike day is next Tuesday. Next Tuesday is the planned strike day, and the regents who run UC Berkeley. The meeting is on Wednesday. Um, do we have winter gardens at Occupy Oakland? We are planting winter and fall plants. Yes. So that's it, really, guys. So ignore the trolls in the stream who say that they know what Occupy Oakland is about, but clearly have no idea, and probably have never been there at all. While I walk back to my vehicle, because I am going to go to Occupy Oakland for a little bit tonight, I will continue answering questions. Um, if you would like. Oh. Um, for Occupy Berkeley City College, let's see what we can do. I'll go back and see what we can do. It actually, so I don't know. I don't know if everybody's just kind of around. Um, and I don't know if there's anybody here from Berkeley City College. Let's see if we can talk to Mike down here. Mike! Mike! Oh, wrong mic. Sorry, dude. Sorry. Thought it looked like Occupy Oakland Mike, but it's not Occupy Oakland Mike. So yeah, I'm sorry. It looks like the meeting is all over and people are just kind of going to camp or leave, and I am going to go to Occupy Oakland for a little bit. Let's see. Have you noticed any dissent from Occupy Cal leaders not wanting help from Oakland organizers? No. I've seen a couple of people, that all I've seen basically tonight is solidarity. You see, one of the things, I'm sorry, SF, I'm sorry, Safo, I'm sorry, I can't, I just don't know, anybody left over here to talk to or to make that announcement. But, I'll tweet it out on Twitter, I'll make it apparent that Occupy Berkeley City College is happening, and I will tweet out solidarity to them. What's it like to walk to my car without sprinting? So if you go into my favorites, my favorite tweets, and basically just go to my profile and check my favorite tweets, you can see there's probably, 10 to 15 tweets down are favorited my running from the other night when I needed to go get a battery. And if any of you haven't seen it, it is thus become known as Battery Run Night. After 12, I just... Oh, DR. What's up, DR? Oakland is fine. I just left there. Go sleep. We need you healthy. You did great. Thanks, DR. I just want to go see and say hi to people and make sure everybody's okay. It's just kind of, I'll probably only be there for a little bit, but when do I sleep? Never. I have it's like a second job, but it's a job that I enjoy way. I don't get paid for it, but it's a job I enjoy way more than my actual job, which I also enjoy because I get to help people. I work at a gym and I help people basically to lose weight like I've lost weight. Um, I've lost almost 100 pounds and I have about 50 more to go. But yeah, basically when I graduated from grad school with my MBA, the financial collapse happened. That's literally the same month that I graduated with my MBA. And I looked for work for a long time, tried starting my own small business, and basically I got really depressed. And, I'll tell you guys a little bit about me, I guess, since we're walking together. I got a little depressed and I started putting on the pounds. Now, I've always been a big dude because I played football, was a lineman, and I was always really big and in shape, kind of like I am now. Like I'm a big dude, but I can run a long way. And basically, yeah, I needed to lose a lot of weight. My brother came home from A school in the Navy, basically said this is unacceptable, could put me on his membership at the gym, and the rest is history. I lost about 70 pounds there, and I started working there. And because I believe in the gym's motto is to improve people's lives through fitness. And my life was essentially saved because I was not on a sustainable path. I might have lived to 35, I'm 29 now, but there's no way I would have lived to age 40. So that's a little bit about me. That's why I work at a gym with an MBA. But hey, we do what we do. Sometimes we fall into things that we never expected, and I'm happy making very little money helping people turn their lives around and get into shape and be in a better position to live long and healthy lives. So, um, that just went out probably to thousands of you around the world, and now you know a little bit more about me. And so, any other questions or things that you would like to discuss this evening? We're just gonna walk into my car together. To Occupy WWE? What's Occupy WWE? And I think it's funny that on Ustream there's still 471 of you that are just sitting around and listening to me talk about what I do. So thank you all again. Thank you all again for watching. I greatly appreciate you sticking with me on the live stream, even though we aren't even there anymore. Maybe I'll just plug you guys in my car and take you with me to Occupy Oakland. That's what I should do. I should just plug you guys in the car and take you with me to Occupy Oakland. You guys can see the proximity we are. Hang on for a sec, guys, while I cross the street here. Are there plans for any more tents over the next week? Well, at Occupy Oakland, I know there's always plans for more tents. Hang on a sec while you guys won't be able to see. While I get my keys out. Hang on, guys. Are any of your military family members in Afghanistan? So apparently, my brother, who's in the Navy, was in, apparently, this is what I got from emails, he was in Kuwait for a while. He was in southern Iraq for a while, running basically supply runs and things like that with Spec Op teams, though he's not part of Spec Ops himself. And then, of course, apparently he was also in Afghanistan for a little while. But, he is one of those individuals that excelled once he entered the military. He does very well with the structure, and he excelled. He was like number one in A school and C school, and thus he got to basically pick his deployment. And so they send him special mission everywhere, apparently. So he's been into a lot of places, and last I heard he was in Guam, which I'm very happy with, so I'm not constantly worrying about it day by day. Plug the car into us. Yes, I'm working on it. Give me a minute here so I can plug you guys in and take you with me. We will go to Occupy Oakland. We will be there in probably 15 minutes. Just give me a moment here. Where can I put you guys? I guess I can put you here. So they say not to drive and talk on your cell phone at the same time. But I don't know if there's any law against driving and Ustreaming. I guess we'll find out. um, so, I'm just going to go ahead and put the camera down for just a minute while we pass over major streets like Telegraph and whatnot. And yeah, hang on a sec. So we are going to go up here to College and stay with us, guys. I know there's still 448 of you on Ustream here. We're going to go to Occupy Oakland. We are live still driving to Occupied Oakland, and we will be there shortly. Just have to get up here, get back on the freeway, come on over. Yeah, this car, by the way, was my brother's. So I'll give you another little background about me. I used to drive a beater 1994 Toyota Corolla, an absolute hoopty. I mean, the definition of a hoopty, I should tweet this because there are several, what do you call it, benchmarks for your car to be called a hoopty. And one of the benchmarks for your car to be called a hoopty is that your driver's side door lock does not work. And so I had to crawl in through my passenger side, and the radiator leaked. So every time I would drive it, I had to fill up the radiator and bring radiator fluid with me. The inside door handles were all plastic, and drunk college friends, because I was always a designated driver because I don't really drink, drunk college friends would rip the handles, and as a result they all broke. So you had to reach outside to open the door, and basically, yeah. That's, my car was a straight hoopty. But at the same time, it took me around the country, circumventing the country. And, it was ride or die. It always worked, until my radiator, of course, started leaking towards the end of its life. But it was parked on the street outside my mother's house, who lives down by the 29th Street Bridge in Oakland. And it was parked there for probably about a month because it was just so broke. And then, like some freaking miracle, some 18-year-old kid in a Suburban came by at about 3 a.m. and just nailed it. Absolutely totaled it while it was parked, and it was a hit and run. Actually, the kid actually left and didn't leave a note, didn't leave his insurance, anything like that. But his mother came back and left a note with his insurance on my windshield. Now, the truth is, the kid was probably drunk. And I understand why he hit and ran, and I really appreciate his mother for coming back. So, it all worked out, and basically I got dropped an insurance check from my insurance, and my brother, of course, going overseas for at least a year and a half, had this car, which is a 2003 325i BMW with about 160,000 miles on it. Now, if anybody knows anything about BMWs, after you pass a certain point, as far as mileage goes, their value plummets. I mean, this car's value, my Corolla at its peak was probably worth more, a 94 Corolla. I could probably get more for it than this car. So I keep it really nice, but the reality is it's pretty freaking worthless. I baby it. I ride my bike everywhere because when it breaks, it costs me a crap load of money. And it basically, if I could, I wouldn't drive it. But of course, I'm kind of poor and I work at a gym. And so I can't sell it for much. So it doesn't really, make any sense at this point in time for me to try and do anything else. Yeah, so that's why I drive this car, though I dislike it because it kind of portrays an image that is completely backwards from what I actually am. I would much rather drive a freaking Prius if I could, but again, I would not be able to afford one. So we drive what we drive. We dropped the insurance check in my brother's lap, and he essentially gave me this car, and that's how that happened. and I keep it as nice as I can, but I almost never drive it because it's just the gas mileage again is like about a third of what I used to get with my Corolla, and yeah. There's still 424 of you on Ustream. I don't know if we're still on Global Revolution TV. I'll feel pretty bad if we are. No right turn on red. Um, I'll feel pretty bad if we're still on Global Revolution TV and thousands of people are watching from around the world as I drive, but okay. I don't know if we still are. All right, just keep on keeping on. We are making a right onto Claremont from College Avenue in Berkeley. Thanks for the ride to Oaktown, Spencer. Well, you're very welcome. We're rolling. I guess we're rolling. We're rolling live, and we're also rolling in the car here. Just keep it going as long as we can.